There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize something painful. The world is not waiting for them to succeed. The world is not going to stop and give them permission to become great. The world is not going to silence the critics, remove the distractions, eliminate the doubts, or clear the path before they begin walking. And that moment is both terrifying and powerful because it forces you to understand one of the greatest truths of life. Your future is not created by what people say about you. Your future is created by what you choose to do when nobody is watching. Let me tell you something. One of the biggest reasons people never become who they were meant to be is because they spend their entire life looking in the wrong direction. They look at other people. They look at opinions. They look at criticism. They look at people who doubted them. They look at people who moved ahead faster than them. They look at the noise around them so much that they forget to listen to the voice inside them. And that voice inside you, that quiet voice that tells you there is more for you, that voice that wakes you up in the middle of the night and reminds you that you are capable of something greater, that voice is where your transformation begins. Think about this for a moment. A seed does not become a tree by comparing itself to another seed. A seed does not look around and say, that tree is growing faster than me. That tree has more sunlight than me. That tree has stronger roots than me. No, the seed does one thing. It focuses on its own growth. It pushes through the darkness. It develops roots. It fights through the soil. And one day, what was hidden beneath the ground becomes something everyone can see. But most people want the tree without experiencing the darkness of the soil. They want success without struggle. They want confidence without facing fear. They want respect without building character. They want results without discipline. And life does not work that way. I learned something years ago. Growth happens in silence. The strongest transformations happen in private. The person you become when nobody is watching determines the life you create when everybody is watching. Because anyone can look motivated for one day. Anyone can talk about their dreams. Anyone can announce their goals. Anyone can tell the world what they are going to do. But the person who changes their life is the person who quietly works when there is no applause. They wake up when nobody is cheering. They study when nobody is impressed. They exercise when nobody notices. They improve when nobody is giving them credit. They build themselves when the world is distracted. And then one day, people look at them and say, you are lucky. But they never saw the nights. They never saw the sacrifices. They never saw the battles. They never saw the moments when that person wanted to quit but decided to continue. Here's what most people don't understand. Your life is not changed by one giant decision. Your life is changed by hundreds of small decisions repeated over time. The book you read today, the thought you choose today, the habit you practice today, the discipline you develop today, the conversation you avoid today, the distraction you eliminate today. These small choices are like drops of water filling a container. One drop seems meaningless. 10 drops seem small. 1,000 drops create something impossible to ignore. This is the compound effect of life. People underestimate small actions because they cannot see immediate results. They plant a seed today and become disappointed because there is no tree tomorrow. They start learning a skill and quit because they are not an expert after a few weeks. They begin changing their mindset and become frustrated because their old problems still exist. But nature teaches us patience. A mountain is not created in a day. A masterpiece is not created in one brushstroke. A successful person is not created by one morning of motivation. They are created through consistent choices, through ordinary days, through boring days, through difficult days. Through the days when they feel like doing everything except what they know they must do. That is where greatness is built. Not when life is easy, when life tests you. Because pressure reveals what is inside you. A person who has never faced difficulty does not know their own strength. A person who has never experienced failure does not know their own courage. A person who has never been alone does not know their own power. Sometimes life removes the noise around you because it is trying to introduce you to yourself. Sometimes people leave because you need to learn independence. Sometimes opportunities disappear because you need to develop yourself before receiving something bigger. Sometimes you have to walk alone because your next level requires a version of you that your current environment cannot create. Let me tell you something. There is a difference between being alone and being lonely. Being lonely means you feel empty because nobody is around. Being alone can mean you are focused. Being alone can mean you are building. Being alone can mean you finally have enough space to hear your own thoughts. Many people are afraid of silence because silence forces them to face themselves. And many people spend their entire lives escaping themselves. They keep their minds busy. They chase attention. They seek approval. They constantly check what others are doing. They compare their behind the scenes with someone else's highlight reel. And slowly, without realizing it, they give away their power. Because the moment you need everyone to approve of you, you become controlled by everyone. The moment you need everyone to understand you, you become trapped by everyone's opinions. The moment you need everyone to believe in you, you forget the most important person who needs to believe in you. Your journey is personal. Your goals are personal. Your struggles are personal. Your growth is personal. You cannot expect everyone to understand a dream that was placed inside your heart. A person who has never climbed a mountain will not understand why someone wants to reach the top. A person who has accepted average will not understand someone chasing excellence. A person who has given up on themselves will often criticize someone who refuses to give up. This is why you must learn to separate yourself from the noise, not because you hate people, not because you think you are better than others, but because you understand that your attention is valuable. Your energy is valuable. Your time is valuable. And whatever receives your attention grows. If you focus on problems all day, problems become bigger in your mind. If you focus on fear all day, fear becomes stronger. If you focus on criticism all day, criticism becomes your reality. But if you focus on improvement, if you focus on learning, if you focus on discipline, if you focus on becoming better, then your life begins moving in a different direction. Your attention is the currency of your future. Where you spend it determines what you build. Think about the most successful people throughout history. They all had one thing in common. They protected their focus. They understood that distraction is expensive. Every hour wasted is an hour you cannot recover. Every day spent chasing meaningless approval is a day removed from your purpose. Every moment spent worrying about someone else's journey is a moment stolen from your own. The person who masters their focus masters their future. But focus is not easy because the world is designed to steal it. Everywhere you look, something is asking for your attention. Someone wants your opinion. Someone wants your reaction. Someone wants your energy. But you must become intentional about what deserves your mind, because your mind is a garden, and whatever you plant there will eventually grow. Plant doubt, and doubt grows. Plant discipline, and discipline grows. Plant negativity, and negativity grows. Plant possibility, and possibility grows. The question is, what are you planting every day? What thoughts are you repeating? What beliefs are you feeding? What stories are you telling yourself? Because before you change your life, you must change the conversation happening inside your own mind. The greatest battle is not outside of you. The greatest battle is within you. The battle between the person you are and the person you can become. The battle between comfort and growth. the battle between excuses and responsibility, the battle between fear and courage. And every single day, you choose which side becomes stronger. I want you to understand something. Your current situation does not define your final destination. Where you start is not as important as the direction you choose. There are people who started with nothing and built everything. There are people who were ignored, rejected, and underestimated, yet they continued. There are people who failed again and again, but every failure became a lesson. They did not allow temporary situations to become permanent identities. They understood that losing today does not mean losing forever. They understood that a chapter is not the entire story. And they understood something powerful. The opinion people have of you today can change tomorrow, but the opinion you have of yourself will shape every decision you make. So build yourself, strengthen yourself, educate yourself, discipline yourself. Because when you become stronger internally, the outside world loses the ability to control you. The person who controls their emotions controls their actions. The person who controls their actions controls their habits. The person who controls their habits controls their future. And your future is waiting for the version of you that you are building right now, because every morning you wake up, you are given another opportunity to decide, will you continue living according to the noise around you? Or will you finally listen to the purpose inside you? Because the moment you stop chasing the approval of the world is the moment you begin discovering the power that has been inside you all along. Let me tell you something. A person who is constantly seeking validation is like a ship without a captain. Every wave changes its direction. Every storm creates panic. Every voice from the shore changes the course. But a person who knows their purpose, a person who knows who they are becoming, a person who has made peace with their own journey, that person becomes difficult to shake. The world can criticize them. The world can doubt them. The world can misunderstand them. But they continue moving because their direction is not decided by outside opinions. It is decided by an inner commitment. And that commitment is powerful. Because there will come moments in your life when motivation disappears. There will come mornings when you do not feel inspired. There will come days when the results are invisible. There will come seasons where you are working hard and nobody seems to notice. And that is the moment where most people quit. Not because they are incapable, not because they do not have potential, but because they never learned how to continue without immediate rewards. Here's what most people don't understand. Discipline begins where motivation ends. Anyone can work when they feel excited. Anyone can chase a dream when everything feels possible. Anyone can make promises when life is comfortable. But the person who changes their life is the person who keeps promises to themselves even when emotions are changing. Because your feelings are temporary. Your commitment must be permanent. Think about the person who decides to transform their body. The first few days are exciting. They buy the clothes. They create the plan. They imagine the new version of themselves. But then reality arrives. The alarm rings early in the morning. The body feels tired. The mind creates excuses. The old habits start calling them back. And right there, in that small, invisible moment, a battle begins. Nobody sees that battle. Nobody gives an award for winning that battle. Nobody celebrates when you choose discipline over comfort. But those small victories are creating the person you are becoming. Every time you say no to the easy choice, you are building self-respect. Every time you do what you said you would do, you are strengthening trust in yourself. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you are changing your identity. And identity is where true transformation begins. Because successful people do not simply do successful things. They become the type of person who naturally does those things. A person who values health does not always have to fight themselves to make healthy choices. A person who values learning does not have to be forced to grow. A person who values excellence does not need someone standing behind them, pushing them. Their standards have changed. And when your standards change, your life begins to change. I want you to think deeply about this. What are you tolerating in your life that is keeping you small? What habits are you protecting that are destroying your future? What excuses are you repeating that are preventing your growth? Because sometimes the biggest obstacle is not the world outside of you. Sometimes the biggest obstacle is the agreement you have made with your own limitations. You have accepted certain thoughts. You have accepted certain behaviors. You have accepted certain fears. And because you have accepted them for so long, they feel like reality. But they are not reality. They are patterns. And patterns can be broken. A person who has spent years doubting themselves can learn confidence. A person who has spent years avoiding challenges can learn courage. A person who has spent years living without direction can create a powerful vision. The human spirit has an incredible ability to rebuild, but rebuilding requires honesty. You must be honest about where you are. You must be honest about what needs to change. You must be honest about the sacrifices required, because growth begins when excuses end. There was a young man who spent years blaming everything around him. He blamed his circumstances. He blamed his past. He blamed the people who did not support him. And maybe some of his reasons were real. Maybe some people did disappoint him. Maybe some opportunities were taken away. Maybe life was unfair in certain moments. But one day, an older mentor looked at him and said something he never forgot. He said, "You can spend your entire life explaining why you are where you are, or you can spend your energy creating where you are going." That sentence changed his perspective because he realized something important. The past can explain you, but it does not have to control you. Your previous mistakes are lessons, not life sentences. Your failures are experiences, not definitions. Your struggles are chapters, not the entire book. The moment you accept responsibility for your future is the moment you take your power back. And responsibility is not a punishment. Responsibility is freedom. Because if everything is someone else's fault, then your future is controlled by someone else. But when you understand that your choices create your direction, you become powerful. You begin asking better questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what can I learn from this? Instead of asking, why am I not where I want to be? You start asking, what do I need to become to get there? Instead of asking, why don't people believe in me? You start asking, do I believe in myself enough to continue? That shift changes everything because your life follows the quality of your questions. Weak questions create weak thinking. Powerful questions create powerful actions. And powerful actions repeated over time create a powerful life. Let me tell you something. There is a version of you that exists in your imagination. A version who is more disciplined. A version who is more confident. A version who wakes up with purpose. A version who no longer needs constant approval. A version who handles problems with wisdom instead of panic. A version who respects themselves enough to protect their time and energy. That version is not created by wishing. That version is created by decisions. Every single day, you are casting votes for the person you will become. When you choose patience, you vote for wisdom. When you choose discipline, you vote for strength. When you choose learning, you vote for growth. When you choose excuses, you vote for staying the same. And people underestimate the power of small votes. They think one bad decision will destroy them. They think one good decision will transform everything overnight. But life is built through accumulation. The direction of your life is determined by what you repeatedly do. A single day may not look important, but 1,000 days of focused effort, that creates a completely different person. This is why you must stop judging your progress too quickly. A tree does not grow louder because it is growing. It grows quietly. The roots are developing before the branches appear. The foundation is being built before the building becomes visible, and many people quit during the foundation stage because they cannot see the results yet. They do not understand that invisible work creates visible success. The greatest achievements in life are usually created long before anyone notices them. The athlete trains before the crowd arrives. The entrepreneur builds before customers appear. The writer creates before readers discover their work. The student studies before the results are announced. The person you admire today was once working in silence. They were once unknown. They were once uncertain. They were once learning. The difference is they continued. They understood that every master was once a beginner. Every expert was once inexperienced. Every confident person was once afraid. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is often not talent. It is consistency. It is the willingness to keep showing up when the excitement disappears. Because success is not a single event. It is a lifestyle. It is a relationship you build with yourself. And that relationship becomes stronger every time you choose your future over your comfort. Every time you choose your purpose over distraction. Every time you choose progress over comparison. Every time you decide that the noise around you is not louder than the vision inside you. Because the world will always have something to say. People will always have opinions. Some will encourage you. Some will question you. Some will misunderstand you. But you cannot build a remarkable life by constantly stopping to answer every voice around you. A tree does not stop growing because someone says they do not like its branches. A river does not stop flowing because someone complains about its direction. And you cannot stop becoming who you are meant to become because someone cannot see your potential yet. Because sometimes the greatest proof of your future is the discipline you show today, especially when nobody else believes. Because one day, sooner than you think, you will look back at this moment. You will remember the days when you were searching for a reason to change. You will remember the moments when you knew you were capable of more, but you were afraid to take the first step. You will remember the battles nobody saw, the mornings you wanted to stay comfortable but chose discipline, the nights you wanted to give up but chose to continue, the moments when nobody believed in you, but you decided to believe in yourself. And that person you become in the future, that person will either thank you for the choices you make today, or they will ask why you waited so long. Because time does not stop. Life does not pause. The opportunities you ignore today may become the regrets you carry tomorrow. And the pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret can last a lifetime. The pain of waking up years from now and realizing you had more potential. The pain of knowing you had dreams, but never gave yourself a chance. The pain of wondering what could have happened if you had simply started. That is a pain you do not want to carry. So make a decision today, not tomorrow, not when everything is perfect. Not when you feel completely ready. Because the truth is, you will never feel completely ready. Confidence is not something you wait for. Confidence is something you build by taking action. Courage is not something you find before the journey. Courage is something you create while walking through the journey. You become stronger by facing what once scared you. You become wiser by learning from what once broke you. You become powerful by refusing to stay the same. Let me tell you something. The life you dream about is not created by the person you are today staying comfortable. It is created by the person you are willing to become. The person who wakes up with purpose. The person who controls their mind. The person who protects their focus. The person who chooses discipline over distraction. The person who understands that every small action is shaping a future they cannot see yet. Never underestimate what 1 year of commitment can do. Never underestimate what 1 month of discipline can change. Never underestimate what one decision made with complete belief can create. A person can completely transform their life when they finally stop waiting for permission. You do not need everyone to understand your vision. You do not need everyone to support your journey. You do not need everyone to believe in your future. You need one person to believe. And that person is you. Because when you believe in yourself enough to continue, something changes. You stop looking for approval. You stop chasing comparison. You stop being controlled by opinions. You begin walking with purpose. You begin building with patience. You begin creating a life that reflects the person you always knew you could become. Remember this: the world rewards those who stay committed longer than others are willing to. The world respects those who keep going when quitting would be easier. The world remembers those who had every reason to stop.